Hi, my name's Dave, and today we're looking at my ThinkPad Related everyday carry. Hi, so to start off, we're going to look at the bag, but first I'm just going to start by saying I appreciate this isn't the usual sort of content that I put out. I hope you like it. Please like, subscribe, share if you do enjoy it, and we'll get to the bit that actually makes it relevant to the channel, which is the ThinkPad T480 in a second. But we're going to start off with the bag itself. So this is a Matein, got it off Amazon, about £35–40. Now, one of the reasons I got this bag in particular is because it has got enough space for a 15.6-inch laptop, aka my ThinkPad P51, which you should see in B-roll. It's just currently over there. But for today, it's got my latest device, which is the Lenovo ThinkPad T480. So we'll go through some specs in a little bit. But we'll probably start with that actually here. So in the rear compartment, the laptop compartment, we've got multiple items. So we've got the T480. So I probably should have ended with this, but we'll start with it. Why not? We'll go through a little bit of shenanigans. With the extended battery, which I keep in the bag fully charged. And then I've got on the bottom, I've got the very small 3-cell, which I leave for when I have it docked with my eGPU setup, which I will be using this with, and there is another video on the way using that. So this is 61 hours, the other one is 61, so what is it? It is 24 hours, so it doesn't really run very long. And I got this extended battery because the thin battery goes 90, 70, 80, 0. Or not much lower than that, and then 0. But the specs of the ThinkPad, I should have probably kept this for the end, but oh well. Specs of the ThinkPad are i7 8550U, base clock speed of 1.99 gigahertz up to a turbo of 4.1. I've got 16 gigs DDR4 2666 megahertz, but it only clocked to 2400 megahertz. Can't see a way to change that, but it does the job, so why not? We're running Windows 11. I've got a 1TB nvme drive in the built-in, or the included caddy. I'm probably going to put mobile broadband in it, 4G, the Fibercom module. Again, these will all be shown on screen, hopefully. And we could go over the ports briefly. So it's got, 1080p IPS matte finish panel, so that's actually really nice. It's not that bright, but because it's matte finish, it's really usable outside. Track point keyboard probably needs replacing because when you move to the left, it goes slower than when you go right. So at some point we need to replace the keyboard. If you go around the ports, there'll be a full review of this device on the channel as well. So there's no necessarily need to take this as the review because there's plenty more. Also, I bought it for £265. I don't know if you can see if I hold it in the light. There's a few little scuffs, but general business usage. We've got SD card reader. We've got 2 USB 3 Gen 3, one of which can be always on, which I don't use it for. You'll see in the B-roll. Microphone, headphone jack, HDMI, Ethernet. And on the other side, we've got the power delivery, which also works as USB-C but not Thunderbolt. Then a Thunderbolt 3 and docking connector, and then we've got the CPU vent there. It's not got the built-in NVIDIA graphics. It's just got the Intel 620, but I use it with the Lenovo Legion Boost Station and my RX 6600 or 6600 8GB ray tracing graphics card, and it's like a sweet little combo. So you combine that with the external battery and the extra battery, so I'm getting somewhere in the region of about 10 plus another 2 or 3, maybe 2-ish with the original battery. So we've got about 12 hours on the go. And I've also set up a limited CPU profile in power options so that I get only 50% CPU maximum, so that takes it to about 1.8 gigahertz max. when on the go, and Windows 11 has loads of power optimization options as well that you can use with that. So that's the laptop and the battery, so we'll put them off to one side. That's the main focus. Also in this pouch we have a nice little new notepad. You see I've written lots of things in that. We've got like, it's just nice to have a decent notepad. It's really nice matte finish, so it kind of fits the ThinkPad aesthetic. And I use this most commonly for writing set lists at gigs or just making little notes. And you can see I've played some games in here as well. And I'll just do some writing, freeform writing and stuff with it. So that is also in that pouch. And then the battery goes down here. I'll try and put some B-roll in of the compartment. But it's got like the laptop compartment here. Then like a little tuck pouch to keep the notepad in. You can also keep the other item in that I have in here, or a tablet in there. It's really good for tablets. But it's the perfect size. So that's the laptop section of the bag. This is a really nice bag. It was about 40 quid. Then in the main body of the device we have the main body of the bag we have internal pockets visible here. So we've got in the two rear pockets, again B-roll should be visible, we've got the 65 watt USB-C Lenovo power charger, 20 volt 65 watt as per standard USB-C power delivery. So that's clearly brand new when I got it with it, because it's still got the kind of stuff on it, and it's still got the packaging, and the actual USB-C end of the cable was still perfectly coiled, so it's a factory brand new power supply. Seems to work magnificently. Then in the other pocket we've got three just cheap old battery banks really. We've got one by Juice, which does about enough charge to charge my Samsung A52 5G at least twice, if maybe once if we do fast charging, but it's enough to keep me going. And then we've got just this sort of old portable one with torch. This doesn't seem to be coming on. There we go, little torch built in. That's just for like another item which comes in my pocket carry, so we'll do that as a bonus at the end. Then I've just got this little absolutely decimated very quick charger, just to put a bit of a blast of juice in your phone, but not anything long term, not a full charge at least. Now another cool feature of this bag is that you see on the side here we've got a pass-through for those battery banks. So I keep the battery banks in this pocket, and then this internal cable feeds to the battery bank, so that's built into the bag, and then you can charge your phone externally while you're walking around using this port, and we'll look at cables I've got as well in a bit. Another item that I generally keep on me is my original, it's not an OLED one, it's just a Nintendo Switch with, I've got the grip adapters in there, and I've got this, I can't remember who this is made by, Orsley. It's only a cheap case, but it's a nice case. And I use this for, mostly I just play Street Fighter on it, or see what games I've got. I'll try and, we've got Mario Kart 8, obviously you've got to have Mario Kart 8, Asphalt Legends, Street Fighter, Brawlhalla, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, sick game. YouTube and Kirby and Blades and Apex Legends and a bunch of other stuff. I just got a bunch of games on it, so they're just for on the go, and I can tether my phone to it for any online stuff because I've got a 5G connection, so I keep that in the bag generally for a bit of Street Fighter on the go. And then to accompany Street Fighter, we have a recent acquisition, which is the 8-bit Do M30. This thing is gorgeous. Matte finish, really nice buttons, like really nice buttons, feels really nice. I started with, when I first started playing Street Fighter, it was Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Mega Drive, not the Championship Edition, the 2 Turbo original edition, as far as I recall. I used to have it until I was about 20 and then it got lost. But this works with X input, it works with direct input, it works with Mac OS, it works with the Nintendo Switch. So that's for the Switch, but it also can be used via Bluetooth with my T480 for Street Fighter, because I've got Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, I've got Street Fighter X Tekken, I've got Ultra Street Fighter 4, I've got Ultra Street Fighter 5, and I've got the demo for Street Fighter 6. but I'm getting Street Fighter 6 eventually, so whether that'll run on the integrated GPU, I don't know. But I mainly play Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Anniversary Collection. But yeah, it's just a lovely little device. £19 off Amazon because it was on sale, plus £4 postage and packaging. You can see it's got the sync lights flashing at the bottom. And you press start and different key combinations depending which system you're using it with. So I was really chuffed with that. £19, plays really nice. It helped me get my Sure Upper and Dragon Punch on from the right finally, because I struggled with that on like my other controller, which I also have with me for GeForce Now, which I've got a subscription to. If I need to play analog games, analog stick games, or with analog triggers, I've got this red DualShock 4. It's like the second gen, not the third gen, but it's like the second iteration of them. And it's really handy for in games because you can set up a desktop profile so that you use the trackpad as left click, right click, or left click, right click. I usually invert them so that you can do it with your thumb, sort of like this, and then that's left click, and then that's right click, and then have like escape map to there, and you can split the pad so you can have a scroll wheel as well in Steam, and it's actually pretty good for fighting games. The D-pad's nice, but it's getting strained because I've had it a long time. If you actually see the mush on there, it needs a good clean. But it just means that I can play first-person shooters, I can play Elite Dangerous, all via GeForce Now with my phone tethered. I will be adding a 4G module, the Fibercom one, to the T480 eventually, but yeah, I carry a second controller. That also means that I can do, if I meet up with a chum, we've got 2 players for Street Fighter, so that's always in my bag. We've got a cheapish set of JVC Bluetooth headphones. Sound quality is quite nice. They don't get very loud, but there's nice noise cancellation-ish. It's not formal noise cancellation, but because they're closed back over ears, they give you a bit more privacy without having to stick something in your ears. So I don't really like that. I've also got some Jlab signature stuff that I tend to keep in my pockets. Little Bluetooth in-ears, but we'll come to them in a bit. But these are really nice for deadening sound out on the bus or on the train or in coffee shops. But the battery life's not great. They were a gift. Then further deeper in this pocket, we just got a charger cable for the headphones, which is just micro USB. And then these things are a game changer. So you go into game with your mates. So you've got your T480, you've got your ThinkPad, you've got your GeForce Now subscription. Let's say they've got a nice wired Ethernet connection. Oh, look at that, a nice retractable Ethernet cable. That's just such a handy thing to have in there because it's in such a small form factor. It makes it really, really useful for just like, oh, my signal's not great. I use the Ethernet cable. I tend to use the phone that you're seeing this via, tethered with GeForce Now on 5G or even 4G, but on 5G I can get up to 300-ish megabits per second downloads and 150 up, so you get a bit of input latency on GeForce Now, but like it's mostly manageable. So that's generally what I use. That's everything in the main body of the bag, and we'll do sort of what I've got about my person as well in a second. And then we've got a nice front pocket, so that's really spacious. I can't remember the exact literage on it, but like, if I just hold that open, you can see there's plenty of room, and it kind of like expands out, so you can get quite a lot of stuff in there. You can keep your clothes in there. I've fitted a launch pad in there for doing music production. I fitted even a small amp head, 250 watt Mark base amp head has gone in there before, and it's perfectly fine. So in here in this front pocket, we've got like quite a few interesting items. So we've got detachable key fob built into the bag, which I keep 32 gig USB stick with just a bunch of files on it that I might need, and it's currently flashed with, I think, Windows 10. I've also got on my other keys, but we'll come to that in a second, the bonus part of the video, Ventor USB. But I've just got this little, it did say my name on it, but it's scratched off, just a collection of plectrums. I've got my Tesco club cards, which I'll keep the QR code away from you. I've got the keys for my ThinkPad docks. I've got Sainsbury's Sainsbury's for £10 coin. ThinkPad docks, bottle opener. If you know what this is, you know what this is, and you know why I've got it. But sobriety for the win. So that stays in the bag at all times, and then I can just attach it when I need it when I'm doing my shopping or whatever. I've got like quite a nice torch here as well. It's just what brand is it? Yeah, if I just it's dead. No, it's not dead. Look at that. That's very, very bright, and it expands out to like sort of. It's got the flasher, so SOS, and then it's got does have a red light as well, but I can't figure out how to do it. It's quite a nice torch. That is usually a pretty handy thing to have with you when you're adventuring, especially if you're doing tech and you need to get made by Adventure Ridge. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. It's got the red flash on now. It's got the red side bit. I thought it had a red flashing function anyway, but you can put that on your belt as well, which is quite handy for just keeping it about your person when you're doing your tech misadventures. But I just keep it in there. And then there's a front pocket here, a zip front pocket. I'll try and get as much of this in B-roll as possible. Front pocket, which I keep a 2 terabyte Samsung T-Shield beast of a drive in, just for on-the-go video storage and music production files. So that is generally in there. And that's all on that side. Then we've got some other interesting items. So this is the original SSD from my T480 that I bought it with. So 256 gig nvme. Don't think it's Gen 3. Let's have a look. Again, you'll see footage of this, but 256 nvme drive, and that stores Batacera, so I can sort of just boot the system off this via USB-C, because it's got USB-C to USB-C or USB-C to USB-A. So any system I want, I can just sit down at someone's house, plug it in, press F12 or whatever the boot prompt is, F11, whatever it may be. And then I've got a portable Batacera library on this NVMe super fast drive with USB-C. And it works with the T480 as well. Then we have got kind of a portable studio. So we've got some cheap in-ear headphones for monitoring. Because this device that we'll get to in a minute doesn't have Bluetooth. But they're just some cheap, nice matte finish like headphones. Then we've got a lapel mic with so it's to use with phones. So it's got the triple socket, but I've got it adapted to dual. I could plug it into my phone, but the cable on it is not quite long enough for what I'm doing now, but it has worked very well in the past. So I've got an adapter to split it to stereo, because this is an old school but still decent Olympia Euphony mobile dictaphone. Basically, I've not got any batteries in the moment, but I run it. It's a digital voice recorder. The model is DM450. Now it's really good for voice notes on the go. It's got a dedicated mic socket for the lapel mic, so I can do monologues. I do podcasts occasionally when I can be asked, and my schizophrenic stuff. It can take up to, I believe, like 250 gig SD card. It's only got a 2 gig one in there, but you get some really nice storage time. Stores it all in high density MP3. But the cheeky bonus of this that is via USB-B, mini B, you can use this as a sound card. So the audio out comes out of the earphone, the mic goes into the mic, or the built-in stereo mics, which are actually quite nice. They've got really good noise cancellation on them. Meaning it's basically a portable sound card that's this incredibly small form factor. So that's really useful in Ableton, or just as a like talkback thing for if you're gaming. You can use it as a sound card. It's definitely an improvement over the Lenovo mics, although they are quite good. It's got the IR camera in it and the shutter and everything. But there will be a full review of the T480. This is just something so that I can get the ball rolling with content. So then what else do we have in here? The ThinkPad key. Oh yeah, and then just power bricks. So we've got the retractable 1 amp Samsung travel adapter. That's always handy to have for your phone. It's not fast charging, but it does the job in a nice little form factor. I've also got a very cheap one for my dumb phone, and it's 2.1 amp this one for one USB, or 1.5 amp for two. So you do get sort of fast charging out of this. It's also good because I used to carry a Raspberry Pi with me. You can charge the Raspberry Pi off it rather than having to sacrifice a USB port. Then, so that's the front pocket. The very front pocket, any tech nerds, much needed. This is a Dexton Precision bit set 33-piece screwdriver kit, basically, that was gifted to me. It's quite a small form factor. I prefer to get an iFixit thing down the line, so if you're watching iFixit, please give me one. I'll review it happily. But this is more than sufficient for my needs. All the bits are there. Some of them have been ground down because of difficult laptops, but it's always a handy thing when you're a tech enthusiast of doing, because I fix people's computers for them all the time because of just general incompetence. So it's a good thing to keep about your person. And then a little sort of flashback to the days of yore. We've got a disposable mask, which is always handy because my doctor, as a schizophrenic, I'm in the doctors quite a bit, and they require you to wear a mask because probably a sensible decision in a doctor's office anyway, because everyone's always ill. And some Aqueum hand wash just for sanitation purposes. And then in the side pocket to finish off, we've just got basically a boatload of cables. So we've got the USB-B for the Dictaphone. We've got the really nice quality 8-bit dome matte finish rubberized USB-C to USB-A. We've got this I used to charge my phone because it keeps it at a short distance. It's just a USB 3, but this actually came with the SSD caddy, so you can use that as a USB adapter for that as well, so in case you've not got USB-C on your device. I keep the charger for my Fitbit about my person at all times because the battery life isn't great, and if I'm out staying over, I can just blast it on so that I can monitor my sleep and do my exercise and stuff. So I keep that in my bag. We've got braided, I can't remember what brand it is, Anchor. Yeah, really quite nice braided USB micro B for PS4 controller, and there was something else I used to charge the battery banks. And then we've got just USB-C to USB-C again for the charging off the Thunderbolt port on the T480 for my smartphone, which does do fast charge, so my whole phone charges in like, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes for full battery charge, fast charging. And I can also use that with the SSD. I've got, this is the charger for my dumb phone, which I'll show you next because I want to show you what's in my pockets. It's just a Nokia 2720 flip, we'll come back to that. And then I keep a spare Thunderbolt 3 cable, again for fast charging, again because it's really durable and thick. And it's just a much better build quality, the USB-C cable for, the USB Thunderbolt 3 cable for fast charging, and you get faster speeds on this for tethering as well, which comes into play because I use the phone you're watching this on for GeForce Now. That's the basic contents of the bag. That's the bag. There'll be links to everything I think is relevant. I'll try and get the links in the description. And then for a cheeky bit of bonus footage, I'm just going to show you what's in my pockets. I'll be back with that. So, there is one last pocket on the bag that I've missed. Also, you may notice a distinct change of, slight sort of change of camera angle. Couldn't well line up perfectly. Switch to a different phone so I can cover up my main phone. But a couple of bonus features on the back. We've got, this goes over your suitcase when you're travelling. Rather nice. That's actually quite handy because then you just keep them as one. But in here, we've got an additional pocket at the back. Now, it looks like it sees through, but it's actually a sealed pocket. And in there goes my multi-tool with a pair of pliers. It did have a little working torch on it, just need to replace the batteries. Bottle opener with like straight edge screwdriver, Phillips head, little knife, and a miniature saw. So that's not really relevant, but I keep it in there because it's quite useful because there's a screwdriver and the pliers just for doing tinkering. Then we've got my slightly battered RFID wallet. So you see you've got my bank cards, all because the contactless is all blocked. And then we've got this handy thing, which is Samsung Pay, which you use through your phone. And basically any of my bank accounts, credit cards, debit, whatever, can be set up with just a couple of clicks on your phone to be represented by this card. I really recommend it. Samsung Pay is really cool, and you can use your phone in the same way, but it's nice to have just a single card. I won't show you the details, but as I am disabled, this is my for life, because I'm not allowed to drive because I have visual hallucinations, bus pass, so that stays in there so it doesn't get robbed. Then we've got my Samsung A52 5G in this kind of generic case with a little kickstand on it, so you can put that sideways or forward ways. 5G, 128 gig base model. I think it's got 6 gigs of RAM, and I've got 128 gig SD card in there, although it can take a second SIM in that slot. I use it because I film on this, so I just keep it quite good. It's got the wide angle cameras, infrared camera. It's a nice little camera. Everything you've seen on my channel for the past year or so, if not two, year and a half, has been filmed on this. So decent enough camera for what I need it to do. And that stays in there on silent in this little pocket, so that I'm distraction free when I'm out and about, generally speaking. And then what I do, I call redirect to this ancient dumb phone. It's actually pretty cool, just to be able to flip and like, hello, press a button, and then you can hang up by flipping it down. It's a Nokia 2720 flip. What I want to do eventually when I can afford it is it's not the flip version. There's a 4G version called the flip. Basically, this is the Nokia 2720. I've got a Vodafone SIM card in there, so it's got a little front panel, shows you what you're using. And the idea with that is that what I do, I call redirect automatically. There's a code you can put in on most UK phones, but I try and remember to put the actual code in here. And then you include the number you want to redirect all your calls to automatically. And then, so if I get an emergency call, I can do this. I can text a select few people because I've got my contacts on here. But it's just less distracting because you haven't got social media, you haven't got all these different kind of apps to constantly ping, 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 ping. Is all you hear. And so I like to keep that thing on me. It's got the aforementioned charger works with it. It's still a Nokia one. It's got headphones for. It's got a really crappy 1.3 megapixel camera, which I will take a picture on and show you later. But it's very undistracting because it's rubbish. I've also got, to accompany this, which I'll tell you what that is in a minute, these really nice Jlab signature headphones. They've got a built-in charging cable, which is reversible USB-A, and you get up to about 25 hours battery life. What model is it? The 2AHYV Go Air, or the Jlabs Go Air signature tone. They're just little earbuds. But yeah, 25 hours battery life for a full charge, because this is a charger for them. These are so good, I recommend my partner gets them, because they're around the 40-ish, 30 to 50 pound mark originally. I got them brand new. And they're just really nice sound quality for what they are. There's 3 different EQ settings. I keep them on balance. The bass boost is to Roomy in ears, because I only have one working ear as well. My right ear is partially deaf, so because it only hears bass frequencies, having the bass boost on is really annoying. The balance is just about right for me, and then there's their signature tone, which is just like a gained everything, which is quite good in the gym. I use these for the gym mainly, because I do work out, despite appearances. Just keep myself in shape. I've got a garden gym as well. Now the other thing that I use with these, which does work with Bluetooth, is because I'm missing the capability to play music on this little crappy dumb phone. Oh yeah, bit of Dan McKinnon there. I've got an Akamai 16 gig. You can take an SD card up to like 250 gig, but I've just got it. It can play films, although I haven't got any on there. You can read ebooks. It's got a pedometer, it's got a recorder, it's got FM radio, it's got photo viewer. ebooks, I think I already said, and it works with Bluetooth or wired headphones, USB charging. It's actually a really nice little device. I think it was like 20 quid, but you can load up your own carefully curated 1000 milliamp battery as well. I've only charged it like 3 times in 2 years. It just lasts for ages. And 16 gig the base model, or you can put an SD card in there. You could fit easily like just more music you could ever possibly listen to, because on MP3 or WAV format, because it takes multiple formats. It even takes AAC and FLAC, I believe, so it's actually quite a high quality thing. It's the Akamai MP3 player. You can get really high quality audio sources. It's got a built-in recorder, volume controls. The screen's alright, looks nice, does what it's supposed to do. And you can read ebooks on it just by scrolling up and down. So if you need an e-reader, this sort of covers that. But you just got to make sure that you got it in the right format. You can read PDFs as well, so that's quite cool. And those things stay in my pocket, so that's basically my pockets, plus a lighter, because you never know when you need fire. And then on my keys, I'm going to hide my keys, because I know you can clone them from video, but I've got the ThinkPad dock key for my P51, my house key, and then I've got, currently flashed with Batacera, but I generally keep a dedicated USB 2 Windows 10 or Linux distro on this, because it's only 16 gig USB 2, and the idea is that it's just a live environment that I can just boot any system with. And then I've got a Kingston Data Traveler USB 3 Gen 2. I don't know if you can see the little gold bit in the blue thing, but it's 128 gig. And on there, I keep the full repository of Snappy Driver Installer. That's a really bloody handy thing to have on your keys at all times for when you're fixing computers. I've got 10 operating systems on there, all just the ISO files that are all bootable, including Kali, Windows 11, Windows 10, Pop OS, Proxmox, Linux Mint, so on and so forth. And then I've also got just a bunch of games for testing as well, like GOG games and stuff, just all stored on there. So it's maxed out. It's got about 5 gig of space left on it, but it's basically, you can take any computer, install a plethora of operating systems. If it's a Windows system, install all the drivers offline and play games and test them all off this one USB. So that's really handy. And I've just got this lovely chunky metal key fob, which get one. I recommend it. But yeah, that's basically the whole thing that I wanted to show you. So I'm going to finish there. Please like, subscribe, share the video. Basically, look out for the T480 video. So I'm probably going to do just a basic review. I'm going to do upgrades to 32 gigs of RAM. I'm going to do testing with the RX 6600 8GB and the RX 480. There'll be a full eGPU video about it. The T480 is rapidly becoming my favourite device ever, especially because I'm trying to get into my photography. It's got a full-size SD card so I can, which I believe is XC, so I can transfer directly off my Canon onto there, upload via OneDrive. I haven't yet to try video editing on it, so this video will be edited on the T480, so look out for that. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry if this is a bit off from my usual content, but I needed to make a video because I'm waiting for certain things to arrive so I can do the full eGPU review and testing video. I've been Nick Bradley, aka Tech Dave. Thank you for watching. Peace.